quite a history of livestock being on this farm. So we've got some beef cattle here. So how long have you had them for?
So these cattle have been on the farm since the spring. We brought these guys in. But yeah, I mean, I'm a fourth generation farmer, and I'm incredibly lucky to have the opportunity to come back to the family farm. And we're basically doing what my ancestors did sort of 100, 120 years ago. You know, we're a mixed farm, so we have livestock, we have a little bit of arrow, we have some poultry, and we are just trying to do things in the right way. Peggotty Hedge, our organic food manufacturing business, we started probably 15 or 20 years ago. We were looking at ways to add value to our produce and add value to the things we were doing, and it works really well. So we have the story of the organic farm that we're based on. We have the provenance and the heritage of the meals, and everything is basically made from scratch. It's not without its trials and tribulations, it's blood, sweat and tears, but it's another way of adding value to the produce that comes from the farm, and also just bringing produce onto the farm and manufacturing it as well. The farm is the enabler for lots of the other elements of what we do. So the backstory and the provenance and the credibility, I guess, for the food business is from the farm, because when we show people around the food business, we say, well, this is where the beef comes from. We can show people. And a lot of the other events that we do are based on the farm or utilise sort of the facility of the farm. So the triathlon, for example, is a great opportunity. People swim down the river, they run around the farm, and it all hooks up together.
So Oliver, I'm seeing 5 houses around here. What was the thinking and the strategy behind building?
Yeah, so as I say, first met up with you guys 2 years ago, and we had essentially a greenfield, the very definition of a greenfield site. We were fortunate enough to gain planning permission on this small part of the farm, and you know had the scheme to build the 5 houses. So as you can see, they're not quite finished, but they nearly are. So we then sort of looked around for funding opportunities and options, and then came across you guys and sort of. You have facilitated through Oxbury. You have facilitated the building process here, sort of getting it from ground zero to this, and then hopefully that'll enable us to go on from here in other projects. Release capital that we can then utilise and roll over into other diversified projects that we might want to do going down the line. I think. Sort of looking back over the last couple of years with Oxbury, and I think the fact that we have a relationship, I think that's the key thing. I think it's incredible that we can pick up the phone. I know Matt and the guys in the office, and you can actually speak to somebody, and you're going to speak to somebody who knows you. You're going to speak to somebody who understands what you're doing. They are enthusiastic, they are understanding, they are approachable, they have an empathy for what we're trying to achieve, and I think that's the key thing. They know where we want to get to, and they are enabling us to get there.
Some diaries here.
Yeah.
I've got 1901 here, detailing every day on the farm from that calendar year. You've got 1936 here. Some fantastic family history.
My ancestors were phenomenal. They kept amazing diaries, every day, superb handwriting, what the weather was like, what they were doing. But it is fascinating, sort of reading back through these diaries. We think we're so clever today, we think we've evolved so much, but actually if you strip farming back to its bare bones, they're doing pretty much what we do today, or we're doing rather what they did 100 years ago. They're planting clover for fertility, and they've got rotations, and they're doing things, albeit in a slightly slower, slightly more labour-intensive way. But fundamentally, we're all about looking after the land. We're all about planting seed or raising animals in the right way, in the best way.
What do you think your ancestors would think of the current farming business now, with all the work and the diversifications that have gone into the business today?
Interesting. Yes, we're doing, as I sort of alluded before, we're doing the same things but differently. If we look back in the day, there'll be an entry around about Easter Tuesday where we hosted a point-to-point, and we hosted a point-to-point on the farm for about 125 years. So we're lucky and fortunate on the farm to have host various public events. So we host a music festival in August and a triathlon. and various other events and camping. We have a little camping site on the farm. So in our own way, we are doing little things which I think they would recognise, but just in a different format.
So Oliver, we've talked about all the diversifications, the history of the farm, where you've been, where you are now. Where's the business going? What's next?
And we've got some quite exciting plans that we hope will come to fruition in the next sort of 5 or 6 years. One of the projects on the farm is a 6-lane, 1,000-metre rowing lake. And you know, it'd be amazing if Oxbury bought into our vision and were able to come along the journey with us. Because what we have learned over the last 2 or 3 years is that you're amazing partners to work with, and then hopefully we can go into new projects going forwards.